What the fuck is up, YouTube? This story is one that is probably the most tactical story of someone getting robbed that was completely plotted by young teenagers that I've ever heard of to this day. I've been waiting to tell this story. I've been requested to tell this story by multiple people, and today's the day where I feel like telling it. So that's what's going to be going on. Real quick, I got to give a shout out to anybody who is their first time coming. I don't get many of those. I don't know. And if it's your first time, then welcome. And if it's not, then welcome back. Like I welcome it and I appreciate it. And without you guys, I'm nothing. I'll say that many, many, many times because believe it or not, this shit is therapeutic and it helps. So I say that to say, an extra special shout out as always to all my former juvenile delinquents and another shout out to the fallen ones that we lost along the way. Okay? So, this is the story of how Boy, the man who has been notorious in a couple of my videos, got robbed at 7-Eleven by some little ass teenagers that completely got fucking, like, you just got to hear the story, okay? So, this fool, Boy, was my homie, but if you watched my last video, which you probably didn't, and you should watch all my videos. Honestly, they're good. Trust me. And they're real, like shit. But anyways, I have a guy that's a recurring character in my stories, and I call him Boy. He has another nickname that he's known by that I just don't feel like putting him on blast. He's in a different place in his life, whatever. This shit is in the past, so, it is what it is, okay? So, this shit happened, like, I was not there. I didn't know this was going to happen. Didn't know. This was probably at a time where I had some Redondo friends or whatever, and, maybe there would be times where sometimes I'd spend a little more time in Redondo. Sometimes I'd spend more time in Torrance. Like, it just never, you could never really know. It was always fucking random, okay? So, apparently, and Boy, he hated my homies. Like, he hated them. I don't really know exactly why, but maybe it was because they just didn't put up with his shit and they would just call him out on it or whatever. I don't know. But, like, literally in my last story, I talk about my homie Max throwing a rock at this fool's car for not taking him when he picked me up. You know what I'm saying? So, this fool just, he did not like my homie Max, did not like my homie Eric. He had bad blood with his entire family, with our family. It's more accurate to say. But for some reason, me and him were homies, whatever, okay? So, this took place on a night that, honestly, I don't really have, I can't really tell. It happened sometime during high school for sure, okay? I was at Redondo, so it had to be between 2011 and 2008 or some shit, okay? 2009, whatever. I was there 2.5 years. So, they meet up with Boy at a 7-Eleven that was a pretty notorious 7-Eleven for people in Torrance. It's the one on Anza and Del Amo that it's just notorious. I have stories of where I got harassed by the cop was across the street from this 7-Eleven. Like, I'm telling you, there used to be a liquor store that would sell to minors and shit. I would buy cigarettes from there and all that. Whole nother story I could get into. Dude, I have so many stories. You guys have no idea. So, they get him somehow. I don't know how, but all of them ended up in the car together somehow to chill and, like, smoke a blunt. Okay? But Max and Eric, they never planned on smoking a blunt with Boy. Okay? Never planned on it at all. They had a whole nother plan in mind that was already, like, said and done, that's what was going to go down, and they were in the car, so that was, like, probably one of the hardest parts of it, the battle. So what they did is they at the time, I've said it before that Boy was a couple years older than us, okay? So, when you're 16 and you're homie is 18, who's going to go inside the store to buy the blunt? You know what I'm saying? Like to a 7-Eleven at least, and not a specific store that sells to minors. It's going to be the 18-year-old guy, right? Right. And boy, had a notorious and not low key at all thing known about him that in his little like uh, center console, he would keep all his shit, all his pills, all his weed, like everything that he cherished and was important to him pretty much, but that was all basically drugs. So really, like, that's what it was, but it was a lot of it, and like a lot of good quality ones. Okay, so they're like, yeah, let's smoke a blunt, man. And he's like, I don't know why the fuck this fool said yes, but he did. So they pull up to 7-Eleven and they're like, all right, man, like, here's $1. Can you go buy the blunt? Boy goes inside to buy the blunt. While he's inside of 7-Eleven, I have no idea if there was a line. I have no idea if he went straight in and just they got to work as soon as it happened. But this fool goes inside to buy the blunt wrap. As soon as he goes inside, they literally go into his center console, open up his glove box, and take all his shit. Take all of it. All his shit. They take it, they get out of his car, and they just book it. Okay? And they book it, and they're able to make it from where they were to where they ended up. I don't know if they rode something or if they just ran or what, but basically they were able to get somewhere so fast that's not very close that it seemed impossible that they would be able to be in one place in one moment and the other place in the other moment. And that'll be important in a second, okay? And that's because when they ran to this Burger King that was our little spot. That's the spot where I got hit by a car. That's the spot where if I had to went right instead of left, I would have went to juvenile hall. Like, it was like so many stories of so many places. Like, and that's all stuff that I've already talked about. It's on my page. Like, I don't get why people don't subscribe, but whatever, man. I'm still gonna tell my stories. So they get there and they're able to get there so fast that they call one of their like moms or dads or something, and they say, yeah, we were hanging out with these girls from Bishop Montgomery, which was the like Catholic or Christian high school that was right next to the Burger King. So they're like, yeah, we were at the movies with these girls, and they went home, so like we need to get picked up and stuff. So they're like, okay. So my homie's dad goes and picks them up, takes them back home, and of course, like, I don't know how much longer later, I wasn't there, but I can imagine it was not long later. Who the fuck do you think showed up at this fool's front doorstep, knocking, making a scene, just not doing himself any favors at all for the situation at hand, okay? So they proceed to let him in, and he's just going off. Like, this fool, like, he definitely had some anger. Like, I mean, shit, I got anger issues, so I'm not judging or anything, but, and hey, I'd be pissed too if somebody fucking set me up and stole all my shit out of my car. So, granted, it's not like it was like, why would he be so mad? Like, it made sense. But, like, this fool just had kind of a reputation already of kind of being a kind of a shady character, if you will. And I guess that had gotten, sometimes there's parents that talk, like, sometimes there's parents that know more than the kid. Like, that shit's weird to me. So anyways, he shows up, he's fucking making a scene, and he's saying, they stole from me, and they were there, and then, like, but to the parent that just picked them up, they're like, what are you talking about? Like, they were at the movies with these girls, and they literally just got picked up from Burger King, which is like clearly at least a half a mile difference than where you're saying something happened. So basically, he, like, the sad part is he was telling the truth. That's the sad part. But the way he went about doing it and just the point of time and everything that it was, his word didn't carry too much weight, and it was more believable for it to be like, damn, this guy's fucking fucked up and has no idea what's going on, instead of like, oh wow, yeah, he's probably telling the truth and this is a reasonable young gentleman. Like, it was definitely not like that. So that's how it went. Like, he made his case, he said everything, he said how, like, they called, he tried to show his phone and say they called him. Of course they deleted all the shit off of their phones, and they were just like, I don't know what you're talking about. I have no idea what you're talking about. We were with these girls, we went and saw a movie. They even had a movie made up to say what movie they saw and what time, so that if someone checked that it was there. Like, these fools thought of a lot of shit, man, I'm telling you. Okay? So it ended up happening that in the long run, they end up telling boy, yo, you're out of your fucking mind right now on drugs. Get the fuck out of our house. You're crazy. Go away. Get away. Get out of my house. And so he proceeds to leave because, like, there was nothing more that could be done. And really, like, that's basically the way that it ended. But I mean, that's pretty tactical of thinking and carrying out and all that. I mean, it might not sound too special to someone or whatever, but in my opinion, for kids that are 15 years old, 16 years old, to think of that, pull it off successfully, know how things were going to be perceived and know how things were going to play out, and to completely get away with it, and on top of it have a stash of like really good quality and a lot of quantity drugs. Like, that was a score, like, for sure. You know, like, those fools probably could have robbed a bank cleanly if they wanted to. You know what I'm saying? Like, later on, which that's not something I'm not advising that or anything. I'm just saying it took some thinking. They weren't just like, we're gonna get him. Like, they really thought it out, and they thought it out so well that they got away with it. So maybe there's a lesson in there, maybe not, whatever. But it's definitely a story that I've been wanting to tell, and I just want to give a shout out to. It's weird that I'm gonna give a shout out to the homies that robbed the other homie, but like, those were my fucking homies, man. Like, they were my, like, best friends, my ride or die, like, partners. You know, like, boy, he was a friend and everything. Like, nothing against him or anything, but he was older and stuff, and it was just us three were the three amigos, three just like, we were always together, just getting into shit. If one of us was in some shit, we were all in some shit. Like, and that's how it was. And if I could go back, I would not change a single thing about it, even though there's so much drama and so much bullshit and so many lessons learned the wrong way. But maybe it was the right way to learn, because now I'm an adult and there are things that I don't do that I normally do in certain situations. And I perceive that as growth. So before I start sounding too preachy and all this bullshit, that's the story. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you guys could please just subscribe. Like, that's all. I'm not gonna ask. This isn't a trick to try to like get you to donate towards me or something. I don't want money. I just like getting my stories out there. I think they're funny. I think they're entertaining. Like, so I want to share them with everybody. I want to share them with as many people as I can. So, like, that's the only reason I ask for a sub. I'm not like, I'm trying to I'm not counting down fucking on a calendar. Okay, I got this many more, and then this many videos, and then I can start monetizing my video. Like, nah, like, I don't, like, that's not the way that I think at all. Okay. So, anyways, rant over, video over. I hope you enjoyed it. Once again, if you could subscribe, that's cool. If not, and you hate me, or you think my stories suck, or whatever, then that's your own opinion, and you're entitled to it. And I ain't mad at you. I got nothing but love for you, in the great words of Tupac. So, I'm going to, as a YouTube OG would put it, cut the string and let it fly. Peace.